What's happening, YouTube? Welcome back to An American in Poland. It is a nice, brisk winter's day, just shortly after Thanksgiving. So a lot of folks have been asking me over the last couple of years, why would an American move to Poland? And I guess it's a pretty good question, right? According to the media, America is this promised land of, cultural equality and wealth, and, if you put your mind to it, you can do anything. And for some people, it really is. But on average, it's not the land of milk and honey that, the media and the propaganda wants to make it out to be. So today, I guess the best thing we can do is start out why an American would leave the United States, and then we can talk about why we would move to Poland. So I had a very good job in the United States and was very happy at my position. I lived in Vermont, a very nice, very safe area, although drugs were an ever-growing problem, and with that, the crime started growing as well. I'm not going to say like Vermont's like some bastion of crime. It really isn't. But there are getting a lot of houses broken into, and you're starting to see a lot more, folks that are addicted to heroin and things like that. And it just wasn't the place that I grew up anymore. Now, the other problem was, my mother had passed away. Her house was too big for just me, and I was looking at downsizing. And the problem being was I had $50,000 to put down in cash on a house already. And with my income, which was a very good income, and $50,000 cash, the most that a bank would loan me was $150,000. And it's the sad part is in Vermont, that basically buys you a mobile home and a little bit of land, or if it does have a house on the property, it is just a shack that is completely unlivable, and a bank won't finance it. So you really have to have quite a lot of money just to even think of buying property. The idea of, starting out young and buying your first place and building a family, and it's just not realistic anymore. The idea of doing it on a single income for middle class workers is not reasonable anymore. You have to have a two-person income in your family before banks will even realistically look at financing you for a home, unless you are very wealthy and a very high-paying job, or you can get into something like a condo or something like that, which I had no interest in. And, a lot of people will be like, oh, well, it's just your choices. You're 100% correct, but that's also why I chose to leave the United States. Financially, it just didn't make sense. The other thing about the United States is it's in moral decline. In the town I was from, they actually had to put a cat box in the bathroom in the elementary school because one of the students identified as a cat and wouldn't use a regular toilet, would only go to the bathroom in a litter box. This is the level of insanity that's going on in the United States. It's really, really frustrating. And, everything with woke culture and the degradation of the nuclear family just really bothered me. Now, about 3 years ago, I had the opportunity to come to Poland, and it was a real eye-opening experience. Here, I noticed that most families are the traditional nuclear family. You know, there's a father, a mother, kids, and the kind of like the moral compass of this country is still very strong. And I think part of that has to do with the church. But I think that a lot of it has to do with two-parent households. And, you know, the Polish people have done a very good job of keeping their families together, regardless of church or not, because there are a lot of families that I know here that, you know, they do believe, there's still the majority of Polish people do believe in Christianity, but not all of them practice it. But yet those moral lessons from the church are still practiced in the home, which I think has a huge benefit to the community as a whole. The other thing here is that Poland is kind of culturally homogenous. And what do I mean by that? Over 95%, I think, of people residing in Poland are Polish. And so when you've got a strong cultural identity, you know, people tend to agree on things more. Now, granted, you know, political stuff, that's always going to be a battle back and forth. But, you know, kind of the main morals of the country tend to go in the same direction. And I think that's part of what makes Poland such a safe place to be. This is the kind of place where you'll see little kids 7, 8 years old hopping on a train and going to school by themselves. Now, that's unheard of in the United States. And I think part of that is because of the fact that everybody has this similar identity and they all have similar goals. So that's a huge, huge part. Now, the other thing is by having a good amount of American cash and savings and having sold everything, it gave me a big jump start when I came here. You know, I was able to buy, you know, my garden property cash. I was able to, you know, buy a car, go through the process of getting legalized, and I could take time off, you know, to get everything settled. I didn't have to focus on, I've got to have work tomorrow or else I don't know where my next meal's coming from. And so that was a huge benefit for me as well. Now, I will say you can't live like that forever. You know, you've got to have an income. And that's one thing that's been a little bit more challenging here is working as a foreigner. It's not super simple. But I really appreciate the job that I have, and I'm glad to be back working as a mechanic, and I enjoy my life here. Now, the most important reason for me moving here was Anya. You know, she's been my absolute rock through all of this. And, you know, we've been dealing with challenges from the immigration offices and, you know, just the, you know, maybe even homesickness, you know, and we face it head on. And I'm really, really just so glad that I get to have her in my life and have her supporting me, because I couldn't do this without her. You know, she's my travel companion when we're going out and gathering content for these videos, and you know, it's been really great getting to be part of her family as well, which, you know, it's a very traditional family, and it's one thing that we've kind of, you know, that we kind of lost in the States, my family specifically. And a lot of it's because everybody moved over distances, and, you know, so the idea of getting together for Christmas or Thanksgiving, it's not like driving from, say, Warszawa to Poznan. You know, when you're dealing with Colorado to Connecticut, it's a 3-day drive if you're driving straight through at or above the speed limit, so those challenges are there. And whereas here, when we have family gatherings, her grandfather's there, her uncle's there, her cousins are there, and it's like having that old-fashioned family gatherings as well. So I guess if I had to say, why would an American move to Poland? Realistically, it's culture. If you're looking for traditional moral culture, Poland is one of the greatest assets in Europe. They really have fought hard to maintain a homogenous Christian community that values each other. And there's a lot to be said for that. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it helped you kind of make sense of why somebody would come to Poland, and why, me personally, I appreciate this country so much. And if you did like this video, make sure to give it that thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and don't forget to check out our next upcoming videos. If you got notifications turned on, we're going to be taking a look in the next week or so at the Christmas markets here in Poland. I'm going to try and get to as many of them as I possibly can, and we'll put that video out real soon. Anyways, thanks an awful lot for watching, guys, and we'll chat at you soon.